Hi guys, my name is Leah and I have a handmade clothing business called Charlie Darwin Textiles. On this channel, I like to talk a little bit about all of the feelings that go into designing and making handmade clothes. So today I actually want to get into a request that I got from one of my Instagram followers. She asked, what is the most rewarding part of what you do? And I love this question. I love the optimism behind it because it's so easy to just always be complaining about where you're at and what you're doing, especially when you're still learning yourself and you're still learning your skill and you're still learning, for me, how to make this into a business. And so I really love thinking about the most optimistic parts about what I do. What's the most rewarding? So for a little bit of context, just so you know where I might even find rewarding parts, I design, sew, dye, and photograph all of my linen clothing. I'm a solopreneur and I sell through my website and once a year at in-person markets. So to answer the question of what's the most rewarding parts of making handmade clothing, of doing what I do, I know the cliche answer would be something like getting great reviews and hearing how much my clothing impacts the lives of the people that I make it for. Something like that. And I really don't think it is. I reflected and I could say that it is those things, but I don't think so. I mean, I am really deeply touched when I get positive feedback, and trust me, when you're selling things online, you really need positive feedback because otherwise it feels like you are just screaming into the void of the internet. No one is listening and nobody cares. So I really do appreciate getting positive feedback. But overall, I think I take positive feedback for granted. It's really not the most rewarding part. And you might be thinking, okay, well, if it's not getting positive feedback and hearing nice things from other people, it must be the money. And yes, having this supplemental income is straight up amazing. It is amazing that I can use my skill set and package it and be able to make money from it on my own without getting hired by someone else. But I'm not really to the point yet where I'm making a full-time income, which is fine. I've seen statistics that to really get a full-time income from a clothing business, it is really normal to take up to 5 years, and I'm 2.5 years into it. So I am not too worried about where I'm at right now, but I will say that money isn't, at least at this point, it's not necessarily the most rewarding part of what I do. So if it's not positive feedback and it's not money, what is it? It has more to do, I think, with my own journey approaching life artistically and experimentally. So I want to talk about two types of rewards. There's the tangible perks and there are the intangible perks. As far as tangible perks, I am coincidentally creating a dream wardrobe. So I have, over the last 2.5 years, I have added so much of what I want and it fits my body, my lifestyle, and my personality. I have really built a dream wardrobe where I can open my closet and really find the item that I need for almost any occasion, whether that's hiking or attending a wedding or going to teach a class. I have all of these outfits that I handmade in my closet, and I know they all fit. I started hand making clothes because I couldn't find the things that I wanted, the designs and the colors and the fit that I wanted. And so I started making the clothes that I needed in my life. And it's so rewarding, honestly, when someone asks you, I love your shirt, where did you get it? And you can say that you made it and blow their mind with that information. So that, I would say, is my number one tangible perk, is creating my dream wardrobe. The second most rewarding part that is a little bit more tangible is when I am creating a shirt, when I'm sewing a shirt. This is so specific, but when I'm sewing a shirt and it has all of the cut raw edges, right? And they're getting really frayed because at this point I've already sewn this, let's say the center back, and I've already sewn the sleeves. The raw edges are getting a little bit roughly at this point right around the neckline that I haven't done yet. And when I go to attach the collar to the neckline of the shirt or dress, and I finally envelope all of those nasty raw edges inside of the seam of my collar, I don't know, I think that is the most visually rewarding part of anything of the sewing experience. That's, I'd say, tangible perk number 2. And then I want to talk a little bit more about some of the more intangible rewards of what I do. So the first thing is that it is a container, I'd say, to pour my deep love into. I feel like I'm someone who has a lot of energy and a lot of love. I don't know, just a lot of love to give to the world. And I don't know, I'm 29, and I feel like throughout most of my 20s, I've just been not sure where exactly to put that love and where to put my energy and where I should be putting my love and energy. And you unfortunately can get stuck in the trap of thinking of yourself as being like human capital, as being all of your time needs to be an investment, a financial investment, and you get so wrapped up in, am I investing my time correctly to set myself up for financial success, all of that. But beyond and without that, this has been such a great project to just pour my deep energetic love into, and it serves me a function. I get clothing out of the process. I am gaining skills and knowledge that aren't just good because they're transferable in a career setting, but they're skills that I'm just proud of to have, and I'm proud of to build for myself and to be able to provide these skills for myself and my family and my community. So I think that I love having this as a container to pour my love into, and I want to read you a quote real quick from one of my favorite books called The Yamas and Niyamas by Deborah Adele. It's sort of about like the ethical, more mindful practices of yoga. And the quote is from someone named Howard Thurman. A quote he says is, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive. And then go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive." And I love that quote because I feel that this practice of making and selling clothes has really helped me come alive in a lot of ways. I wasn't sure at first in the first few months of doing it what exactly I was doing, but it's really helped me come alive. And I think by finding the thing that I love to do in this chapter in my life, it's only net positive as far as being able to enjoy my work and be able to spread that optimism to the people around me. Which is, I believe, more valuable than anything else. So I'd say intangible reward number 1 is container to pour my deep energetic love into. Intangible perk number 2 is learning new skills and getting to really visually watch those skills develop over time. So even just the fact that this is an online business, of course I get to see how my photography skills and my website editing skills have changed over time. But you just within my closet of just being someone who makes clothing, you can see if you go back to some of the first things I made in middle school are insane, and they are very rough around the edges. And if you just see, that was such a great start, and now comparing it to where I am today, I still have a lot of room to grow as a seamstress, as a plant-based dyer, as a business person. But you can really see how well polished my clothes are at this point in comparison to even just 2.5 years ago when I started doing this as a business. My seams are so much more well finished. My dyeing is so much more even, and my buttons are really secure on the clothing. I'm so proud to see my skills visually unfold in front of me. And I'd say my third and last intangible reward of doing what I do is all of the problem solving that's involved. This one's a little bit more about the business side of it, but I really treat my business like, I treat my life this way a little bit too, but I treat my business like it's an experiment, and I really feel like the business is like a riddle within my psyche and how I interact and become with the world. Basically, every time I come up with a new way of doing something, it really feels like a win, even if it doesn't result in sales right away or anything like that, if there's no financial gain. But I love just the challenge of sort of deconstructing typical business advice that's thrown out into the world, and hustle culture advice, and whatever all of the business coaches are saying right now, and really deconstructing that and actually finding how I like to operate with my business, what makes sense to me, and what makes me feel most connected to it and gets me going. Gets me up and moving every single day to keep working on this project, and that I hope one day can fully support me financially. But even while it's not, I love being able to just keep cracking away at this riddle of business. So I always joke with my boyfriend that, I'm not, the business is, let's say the business is still cooking. We're still working on it. But I joke that I tell him, don't worry, I'm going to crack the code. I'm going to crack the code. I always phrase it as, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to crack the code I think what I mean by that is I'm going to figure out the way to run this business in a way that feels right to me and feels right to other people, and I don't know, brings joy, brings value to the world, pays my bills at the end of every month. So I am, for the record, everyone watching, I am going to crack the code, and I love this riddle, and I actually think it's super fun. I don't know if everyone in the world would enjoy trying to crack the code of business themselves. I love problem solving in my business. So for me, these have been the most rewarding parts about making and selling handmade linen clothing. But I am so curious to hear if you're someone who either makes clothing or you have a handmade business. I would love to hear in the comments what is the most rewarding parts about what you do. I'm sure some of you share some of my most rewarding parts, but I'm sure some of you have different ones as well. So please put those in the comments below. I'd love to hear. The best free way for you to support my creative practice right now is to like this video and comment down below. And if you create handmade clothing and want to get sewing patterns that feel so rewarding to make, ones that you can easily adjust to your custom height and pour some of your own love into, then head over to my new sewing pattern. I'm super excited to get my sewing patterns out into the world. And don't worry if you can't sew for shit and you are looking to save time and cut yourself out as the middleman, I also sew and dye linen clothing for you, all made to your custom height. It's been really lovely to have this space to share my feelings about my creative practice with you. I really appreciate you watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.